Look at the device in your hand, or the glowing rectangle sitting on your desk. It is a portal to the entire sum of human knowledge. It is a cinema, a library, a bank, and a weapon. But have you ever stopped to look at the black mirror when the screen is off? Have you ever wondered, how does a pile of refined sand actually think? Right now, as my voice travels through the internet and out of your speakers, billions of microscopic switches are flipping on and off inside your computer. They are moving at speeds that physics says shouldn't be possible. We are talking about the CPU, the Central Processing Unit. It is the most sophisticated engine ever constructed in the history of our species. It is the brain of your digital existence, and yet we treat it like a toaster. We buy more gigahertz and more cores because a marketing team told us bigger numbers are better. But here is the uncomfortable truth. You are likely throwing away hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars on silicon you will literally never use. Why does your computer still lag even with a top-tier chip? Why does adding more cores sometimes make gaming worse? Today, we are going deeper than the spec sheet. We are going to perform open-heart surgery on the modern PC. We are going to deconstruct the myths, expose the physics, and unlock the secrets of the silicon heartbeat. Buckle up, we are going inside the machine. Let's strip away the tech jargon for a moment. Forget nanometers and instruction sets. I want you to imagine a room. It's a stark, white office. In the center of this room sits a single mahogany desk. Behind that desk sits a mathematician. Let's call him Arthur. Arthur is a genius. He is, without a doubt, the smartest entity on the planet. You can throw a complex calculus problem at him, and he solves it in a nanosecond. You can ask him to render a photo, and he draws it instantly. But Arthur has a fatal flaw. He is a lonely genius. He can only do one thing at a time. This was the state of computing in the 1990s and early 2000s. Your computer was that office, and the single-core CPU was Arthur. When you were listening to music, typing a paper, and downloading a file at the same time, you were actually witnessing a magic trick. Arthur wasn't doing them simultaneously. He was panicking. He would work on the music for 0.001 seconds, then throw it down. Pick up the Word document for 0.001 seconds, throw that down and grab the download packet. He was juggling tasks so fast that to your slow biological eyes, it looked smooth. But it was an illusion. Then we got greedy. We didn't just want to type documents anymore. We wanted 3D worlds. We wanted high-definition video. We wanted to simulate the universe. The engineers screamed at Arthur, "Work faster, think faster." They pumped him full of caffeine, they raised the clock speed. They pushed him from 1 gigahertz to 2, then to 3, but then they hit the laws of physics. Arthur started to overheat, literally. The friction of the electrons moving that fast generated enough heat to fry an egg on the motherboard. We hit the thermal wall. We couldn't make the single brain any faster without melting the silicon into a puddle of glass. So the engineers did something brilliant. They didn't try to make Arthur faster. They knocked down the wall of the office and put a second desk in the room, then a fourth, then an eighth. They realized that the future wasn't about one genius running at the speed of light. It was about a team of geniuses working together. This was the birth of the multi-core era. It was no longer about brute force. It was about cooperative efficiency. But as we're about to see, managing a team is a lot harder than managing a lone wolf. So we have this room with multiple geniuses now, let's say 4 of them. This is a quad-core processor. But how do they know who does what? If they all grab the same file at the same time, they'll bump heads, tear the paper, and the system crashes. Enter the manager. In your computer, the manager is the operating system Windows, Mac OS, Linux. The OS is the stressed-out boss walking around the office with a stack of files, dropping them on desks. In the old days, the manager had it easy. There was only one desk. He just dumped everything on Arthur. If a massive job came in, like rendering a 10-minute video, Arthur was locked in. He couldn't look up. If you moved your mouse, the cursor froze. Why? Because the manager couldn't get Arthur's attention to process the mouse move command. The computer wasn't broken. The genius was just busy. Today, the manager is a master conductor of a symphony. He holds a baton of logic. When you launch a heavy modern video game, the manager sees a behemoth of a task. He shouts, "Okay, cores 1, 2, and 3. You take the geometry, the physics, and the lighting engine. Go!" At the same time, he sees your antivirus running a background scan. He tosses that file to Core 4. He sees you watching a YouTube video on a second monitor. He wakes up the integrated graphics or a low-power efficiency core to handle that. This happens millions of times per second. The fluidity you feel in a modern computer, the ability to alt-tab out of a game, check Discord and jump back in without a hitch, is not magic. It is the result of this manager reducing communication overhead. It is the art of ensuring that while one core is sweating through a heavy calculation, another is sitting fresh, waiting for your specific command. The freeze is gone because there is always someone available to answer the phone. But wait. If you look at the box of a modern CPU, specifically something like an Intel Core i9 or a Ryzen 9, you'll see something confusing. It might say 8 cores, 16 threads. How can you have 16 workers if you only have 8 physical desks? Are we cloning people? This brings us to one of the most misunderstood concepts in tech: hyper-threading, or SMT, simultaneous multi-threading. Let's go back to Arthur at his desk. He's wicked fast, but even he has downtime. Imagine he needs to add 2 numbers, but those numbers are stored in a file cabinet across the room. This is your RAM. Arthur has to stand up, walk to the cabinet, find the file, and walk back. To a human, that takes 10 seconds. To a CPU, that walk is an eternity. It's millions of wasted cycles where Arthur is just staring at the wall, whistling, waiting for data. Engineers looked at this wasted time and said, "This is unacceptable." So they invented hyper-threading. They didn't add another brain. They didn't add another desk. They simply gave Arthur a second set of hands and a second inbox. Now, let's replay the scenario. Arthur needs a file from the cabinet. He sends a request with his primary thread, his right hand. While that hand is waiting for the file to arrive, his secondary thread, his left hand, grabs a different instruction from the second inbox, maybe a simple addition problem, and solves it instantly. Arthur is still one person. He can't think about 2 things simultaneously. But he can interleave the work so tightly that he never stops moving. He is utilizing the gaps in time that used to be wasted. This is crucial to understand. Threads do not double performance. If the task is purely calculation heavy, like calculating PA to a billion digits, having 2 threads doesn't help, because Arthur's brain is 100% occupied. He has no downtime to fill. But for the messy, chaotic reality of modern computing where data is flying in from everywhere, threads are the phantom hands that keep the engine running at 100% efficiency. Here is where we need to draw a line in the sand. A line that will save you money when you build your next PC. We need to distinguish between multitasking and parallel processing. We use these words interchangeably, but in the silicon world, they are enemies. Multitasking is what you do. You are listening to this video while scrolling Twitter and maybe eating a sandwich. You are doing 3 separate activities that have nothing to do with each other. Multi-core CPUs love this. Core 1 takes the video. Core 2 takes the browser. Core 3 takes the background system processes. Easy. Clean. Parallel processing is different. This is when a single job is so massive, it needs to be torn apart and fed to multiple cores at once. Imagine you have to paint a giant wall. Sequential processing, single core, is one guy painting the wall alone. It takes 10 hours. Parallel processing is hiring 10 guys to paint the wall. They divide it into 10 sections, and they all paint at once. In theory, it takes 1 hour. This is how video rendering works. When you export a 4000 video, the software chops that video into tiny blocks and feeds 1 block to each core. This is why a 32-core Threadripper CPU destroys a 4-core laptop in rendering. It's just more painters on the wall. And here is the billion-dollar catch. Not everything can be parallelized. Think about a video game. Think about the logic of a bullet being fired. Step A, player pulls trigger. Step B, gun fires. Step C, bullet travels. Step D, bullet hits enemy. Step E, enemy takes damage. You cannot calculate Step D before Step A. You cannot calculate the damage before the trigger is pulled. This is sequential logic. You cannot hire 10 people to paint the wall if the second coat of paint requires the first coat to be dry. This is why you can buy a 64-core server processor for $5,000 and it will run Counter-Strike worse than a $2,006 core chip. The game can't use the 64 painters. It only needs 1 fast painter. The other 63 are just standing there, watching and getting in the way. This leads us to the eternal battle in the hardware community. Frequency, clock speed, versus capacity, core count. I want you to visualize your data not as abstract numbers, but as people trying to get to work. Clock speed, measured in GHz, is how fast the vehicle moves. A 5 GHz processor is a Ferrari tearing down the highway at 200 miles per hour. Core count is how many seats are in the vehicle. A 32-core processor is a massive double-decker city bus. Now, you are the traffic controller. If your job is to get one single VIPA, a video game instruction stream, to the office as fast as humanly possible, which vehicle do you choose? You choose the Ferrari. You don't care that the bus has 100 seats. You only have one passenger. You need raw speed. You need that 5 GHz, 6 GHz turbo boost. The bus would be a disaster. It's heavy, it accelerates slowly, and it has 99 empty seats that you're paying for in gas, electricity. But what if your job is to transport 1,000 workers, a 3D render, a scientific simulation, or compiling a massive code base? If you use the Ferrari, it has to make 1,000 trips. Back and forth, it will take all day. The bus, however, loads 100 people at once. It drives slower, maybe only 60 miles per hour, but it moves the entire workforce in just 10 trips. The bus destroys the Ferrari in total throughput. This is why the best CPU doesn't exist. There is only the best tool for the job. And modern performance adds one more layer, IPC, instructions per cycle. This is how smart the driver is. A modern 3 GHz processor will crush a 10-year-old 5 GHz processor. Why? Because the modern driver knows the shortcuts. The architecture is more efficient. It's not just about how fast you spin the engine, clock speed. It's about how much torque, IPC, you put down on the road. We live in a maximalist society. We are conditioned to believe that more is always better. More horsepower, more megapixels, more money. But in the world of CPU architecture, more can sometimes be a trap. It's called the scaling trap. Let's go back to our kitchen analogy. Your CPU is a restaurant kitchen. The cores are the chefs. You start with 4 chefs. They work in perfect harmony. Food flies out the door. The owner says, let's hire 60 more chefs. We will serve food 60 times faster. What actually happens? The kitchen didn't get bigger. The pantry, L3 cache, is the same size. The oven's memory controllers are the same. Suddenly, you have 64 chefs in a kitchen designed for 4. They are bumping into each other. They are fighting over knives. They are shouting to be heard over the noise. The kitchen gets incredibly hot, so hot that everyone has to slow down to avoid passing out. Thermal throttling. Instead of getting faster, the service gets slower. The manager, OS, spends all his time just trying to remember everyone's name, rather than assigning tasks. This is a real phenomenon called Amdahl's law. It describes the point of diminishing returns. If your software isn't written to manage 64 cores, those extra cores sit there doing absolutely nothing, consuming electricity, generating heat, and clogging up the data ring bus. I have seen people spend $3,000 on a workstation CPU for a gaming rig, only to find out it stutters because the latency, the time it takes for Core 1 to talk to Core 30, is too high. Don't pay for chefs who are just going to stand in the corner smoking cigarettes. So let's pull this out of the theoretical and into your wallet. You are standing in the store or browsing Noog or Amazon. You see the specs. i5, i7, i9, Ryzen 5, Ryzen 9. The prices range from $200 to $800. How do you apply this story to your life? You need to audit your digital existence. The everyday traveler. If you are someone who opens a laptop to browse Chrome, watch Netflix, type in Word, and maybe edit a light family photo, you are a light traffic user. You don't need a bus and you don't need a Ferrari. You need a reliable sedan. A modern 4 to 6 core CPU is your sweet spot. It's efficient, it runs cool, and it's snappy. Buying more than this is purely vanity. It's buying a semi-truck to pick up groceries. The gamer, you are the speed demon. You need the Ferrari. You want 6 to 8 cores, but you want them screaming fast. You care about single-core performance. You want high clock speeds. Do not get tricked into buying a 24-core workstation chip. Games generally stop scaling after 8 cores. Put the money you save into your GPU graphics card. That's where your frame rates live. The creator, the professional. If you are a video editor, a 3D artist, a programmer compiling the Linux kernel, Or a streamer encoding live video while gaming. You are the bus driver. You need capacity. You have thousands of passengers, pixels and code waiting to move. 12, 16, or even 24 cores will change your life. You will see render times drop from hours to minutes. For you, time is money, and the bus pays for itself. The advice is simple. Don't buy a CPU for the person you wish you were. Buy it for the things you actually do. We have come a long way from the single, sweating mathematician in the office. In the 90s, we fought the megahertz wars. In the 2000s, we fought the core wars. Today, we are entering a new era, the era of intelligence. We are seeing hybrid architectures, chips like Intel's latest generations or Apple's silicon. They mix big, angry, fast cores, performance cores, with tiny, low-power efficiency cores. It's like having a Ferrari and a Prius in the same garage. The manager sends the background tasks to the Prius to save gas, and only wakes up the Ferrari when you press the gas pedal for a game. We are seeing AI integration directly into the silicon neural processing units, NPUs, designed solely to handle artificial intelligence workloads, freeing up the main cores for everything else. The evolution of the CPU is the story of human ingenuity. It is the story of how we hit the physical limits of the universe, thermal dynamics, the speed of light, the size of an atom, and found clever ways to dance around them. It transformed from a brute force calculator into a nuanced, intelligent conductor of logic. As we close this story, I want you to look at your computer with new eyes. It isn't just a box of metal and glass. It isn't just a consumer product. It is a finely tuned orchestra, a bustling city of electrons, a masterpiece of engineering that balances speed, heat, and logic in a dance that happens billions of times a second. But the lesson here applies to more than just chips. It applies to us. We often treat our own brains like those old single-core processors. We think that hustling harder, raising our clock speed is the answer to productivity. We try to multitask, switching frantically between emails and work, creating our own context switching overhead, burning out, overheating. But often, the real efficiency comes from better management. It comes from delegating tasks, parallelism. It comes from knowing when to use the Ferrari logic of intense focus and when to use the bus logic of handling bulk, low-energy tasks. It comes from realizing that sometimes adding more hours to your workday is just Amdahl's law in action diminishing returns. Don't chase the highest number on the box. Chase the efficiency that fits your workflow. In a world obsessed with excess, be the architect of optimization. So here's my question for you. What is the engine running your daily life right now? Are you still holding on to an old dual-core relic that's struggling to keep up, or have you upgraded to a multi-core beast? And more importantly, did you actually notice the difference, or was it just marketing hype? Let me know your specs and your experiences in the comments below. I love reading how you guys build your rigs and what workflows you repowering. I wish you all incredible health, blazing fast render times, and temperatures that stay below 80 degrees Celsius. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the technology that powers our world, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We have so many more stories to tell, and we're just getting started. Until next time.